Well, you have to remember he sat behind Eli Manning also, and he sat behind Phillip Rivers. Once he left the Jets, he actually got to learn a little bit of, hey, this is how you're supposed to be a QB. Plus, he had the personnel around him to be successful.
Seattle Sea Guys. Geno Smith led with Kenneth Walker, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett. I love the additions of Jackson Smith-Njigba. He's from my favorite team, the Ohio State Buckeyes. And Noah Fant, I don't dislike him as a tight end. I think they're offensively, they're going to be high flying. I think as long as they can stay healthy, I think they can only produce on what they did last year. I think it's kind of hard for them to compete with a team like the 49ers, but with a defense like that, I personally think the 49ers will edge them at the end of the season. But I think the Seahawks are out for a great season this year. But defensively, it's like a mixed bag. You know, you got old Bobby Wagner over there, but then you got people like Draymond Jones and Jerron Reed and Jamal Adams. I kind of like their team. Like I said, though, on the offense, they got to stay healthy and stay on the field. Justin?
Yeah, definitely a lot to like about this offense. I mean, we just had to talk about how amazing Geno Smith was last year. Like the beginning of his career, he seemed like a bust, and now here he is playing the best football of his career right now. I mean, he played incredible last year. There's no way around it. He was actually very, very good and could be a franchise guy for Seattle here for the next few years. Kenneth Walker proved to be a stud at running back. Now, obviously, he needs to get healthy. He's had some injury issues so far this offseason, so he'll need to be ready for the regular season. But DK is one of the top receivers, very talented. Tyler Lockett, I'm concerned he might go a little bit downhill, but I still think he'll still produce pretty well this year. But Jackson Smith-Njigba was a huge addition. Gives them really a trio of really good receivers. So it's going to be electric to see what Geno Smith can do with these guys. They finally addressed the offensive line. It took until Russell Wilson left, but they finally addressed the offensive line, and now they just added some more people there. And I mean they just keep getting better. The offensive line really is actually getting pretty good. Defensively, love the secondary. It was surprising to see them pick Witherspoon with the 5th pick because usually Seattle loves to find those guys in the like Tariq Woolen, for example. Like they found him in the 4th round. He was second to Sauce. Like he had an amazing 5th round. Sorry, and he had an amazing rookie year. Would have been contention for defensive rookie of the year if it wasn't for Sauce Gardner. Like it wasn't for Sauce Gardner, we would have talked about how awesome Woolen was in his rookie year. They found him in the 5th round, so it's kind of weird that they drafted Witherspoon with the 5th pick. Did not expect that, but now that he's here, he's going to be really good. They got Kobe Bryant there. They got Jamal Adams, Quandre Diggs. This is an elite secondary. Like they might be getting back towards that Legion of Boom in the secondary. Problem is, I'm not sure about the front 7. Now, Chad, you mentioned a few guys up there. I think they're better against the run than they are rushing the passer. I just don't know who's going to be that guy that quarterbacks have to be worried about. I feel like there's going to be quarterbacks going to have a little bit too much time. And I mean, it's elite secondary, but there's going to be a lot of pressure on it. Matt, what do you think?
Offensively, it's going to come down to how Geno plays. If he can repeat last year, they're going to have a very successful year. The offensive line has been getting better and better the past couple of years. They got Jackson Smith-Njigba. He's going to play a key role in this offense. Noah Fant, and don't forget about Will Dissly. He's still not too bad.
I did forget about Will Dissly, by the way.
Yeah,
completely did forget about him.
the only thing is if one of their top 3 receivers goes down, there's not a whole lot behind them. So at that point, they're going to rely heavily on that run game. When Walker comes back healthy, it's going to be a huge boost to the offense. But they got Zach Carbonet as well. He's going to have pretty good rookie season because they're probably going to work him in a little bit, spell back kind of stuff. But defensively, Justin, you hit the nail on the head. They got a really good secondary. They've been addressing that. They don't want anybody to pass on them. They're almost saying, "Hey, I dare you to run." And then when you look at their linebackers, you're not going to get far with those linebackers. Bobby Wagner may be old, Chad, but he can still tackle. Their defensive line, they are pretty good against the run, but they're going to rely heavily on coverage sacks. They're not going to have a guy go out there and get 20 sacks this year. But if it weren't for the 49ers in front of them, I honestly think that they could win this division.
Yeah, but definitely a contender to make the playoffs, I would say.
Yeah.
I think it's funny you get the guy in the right system and then he succeeds. Like you said about Geno Smith, he's bounced around the league, thought he was a flop, but now he's looking at MVP numbers last year, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was probably the Jets. It was probably a Jets problem with him, and then he gets to a better franchise, and now look what he's doing.
Well, you have to remember he sat behind Eli Manning also, and he sat behind Phillip Rivers. So once he left the Jets, he actually got to learn a little bit of, hey, this is how you're supposed to be a QB. Plus, he had the personnel around him to be successful.
Wasn't he at the Saints too?
No.
That was Teddy Bridgewater?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Teddy Bridgewater.
Similar style quarterback, though.
It was about the same
one,
time.
One wears gloves, the other one doesn't.